what I'm impressed with, and Gary and I talked the other day, and we both agreed that you helping her, you really went to great lengths to put this together. When you said you did it the right way, you most definitely did. You have a full team of people helping you with, like, the artist is just a remarkable, well-known artist. I mean, it's not, you guys didn't just slap this together. You've got a ventriloquist who just succeeded with one of his students on America's Got Talent. I mean, won the whole competition. And Gary, on his own right, is a remarkable ventriloquist and DJ, and so you're bringing quite a team together for this book. It's not destined to possibly fail. I read it today. It's wonderful.
Well, you know what they say: build and it will come. You know, I dreamed about it. I fantasized about it. And when I was watching Darci Lynne, I went, I want Darci Lynne. I want Darci Lynne to be a part of the book with that bunny. It would be so perfect. This is a perfect fit. I wanted to be a ventriloquist when I was very young. My dad said, no, they're ugly. They're not coming into the house. I said, okay. I got Bugs Bunny instead. So still the bunny theme. And, I saw Darci on Facebook saying, I love you, happy birthday to Gary Owen. And I'm like, Gary Owen? And my ears pricked up, and I searched him on Facebook, and I phoned him, and this man, I swear it was within 5 minutes, we were laughing and doing like English accents, no kind of funny accents, and we just became immediately, I felt like it was an old friend I was talking to, and I know he felt the same way, and that's how Gary and I became friends.
The phone call that made the connection, and then he's helped you with quite a bit of stuff. So Gary, you're on the line to tell us. You have a perspective from how it built, and then you finally got the phone call. Tell us about yourself. You have quite a background. Let's hear how you ended up getting to be Darci's coach, and now the voice of Patches, the bunny from
it's Patch.
Patch. I'm sorry, I knew that. I was testing you. You're good. So Patch the bunny from If Bunny Poo Were Square. And it's an excellent little story about biting off more than you can chew. My girlfriend, fiance, and I were just talking about this week about taking on more tasks than you can do. It's like a juggler who's got the world record at 8 balls, and he's trying to juggle 20. And this little bunny kind of turned into that sort of a scenario in the book. And I won't spoil it for everybody. I don't want to do spoiler alert, but you got to read the book. But Gary, how do you get there? How do you come from the beginning to where you're at?
Well, first of all, I've been a professional ventriloquist for over 45 years. I'm heavily involved in the ventriloquist arena, not only as a performer, but also as an advisor, consultant, and as a coach. And I'm also involved with the International Ventriloquist Convention, which is held every year in the Cincinnati area. And a lot of my colleagues and celebrity ventriloquists, people like Jeff Dunham, Terry Fader, of course, out of Las Vegas, Jay Johnson, who you may remember from the sitcom Soap. All of these professional celebs that people have known, Willie Tyler has been there at our convention. All of these people are part of our convention every year. So I've seen a lot of children because I'm involved heavily as a lecturer and as a judge, and so I see a lot of children at the convention. So how Darci and I hooked up, first of all, we both live in Oklahoma City area. And I had a couple come up to me at church one morning and said, hey, we saw Darci Lynne at a local talent competition, and this kid won the competition, adults and children. She's only been doing ventriloquism a month. She's self-taught, and she yodels without moving her mouth, and she's 10 years old. And I'm like, what? So naturally, I have to investigate this. So I go look at the Facebook page, and sure enough, her mother had posted a video on there. My first instinct was this child had what I label as a young Ronnie Howard, Shirley Temple aura about her. She just had that little special something, that little magic about her, and that magic is what everyone has fallen in love with. She's got this very sincere innocence about her. She's not
wholesome.
She's not a structured performer. She's everything that you see about Darci is down to earth. Yes, her talent is extremely unique for a girl her age. Now, when I started coaching her at that time, she was only 10 years old. Now Darci is 13. And when I approached her parents about coaching and mentoring her, I didn't have any of this celebrityism on the platter. I mean, it was just to help this little girl become a better ventriloquist. Darci has been performing as a performer since she was 6 years old, in the Cinderella pageants as a singer doing Broadway songs.
Oh, not
The
even
other side of
ventriloquist,
this
just singing.
No. She started out. She'd been winning those competitions. I mean, she'd been in state and regional and national competitions, winning.
Wow.
In fact, her last competition was in Texas, and she won both first place in Broadway. She won first place in novelty, and then she took Entertainer of the Year.
Wow.
Now, the other side of Darci that people don't realize is she was also a gymnast, and she was being groomed to be trained in the Olympics. She was winning floor and bars as a gymnast, and she was winning big competitions. And you can actually see her doing this activity. You can search her, Darci Lynne, on Facebook, and doing gymnastics. So it's really interesting. But anyway, so I saw this natural talent, and it was one of those things that I get approached a lot, of course, by parents who say, "Hey, would you teach my kid?" And typically I would turn them down because I can see the natural. It's a fad, it's just a phase, and they won't last, and they won't stick to it, and I thought it'd be a waste of your money and my time. So I usually usually turn them down unless I know they're sincere about it. But Darci, I knew, had a genuine gift. And so I took it upon myself to approach the parents. They didn't know where this was going. They had 3 sons on top of Darci, and very busy family. And of course, then they started thinking about, oh, this is going to cost us a fortune, and we can't afford it. And I said, look, I approached you. I am going to donate my time to this kid. I donated 3 years and over 200 hours to bring Darci where she is. And now I am on the road with Darci as her show producer, and we're traveling all over the country, and hopefully we'll be in a lot of the neck of the woods as we go along. But right now we've been touring primarily the east part of the country. But Darci is just an incredible talent. You're going to see her more on television as time goes on. And what else can I say? Everybody knows the secrets. And you can follow her on Facebook, of course.
Yeah, for all the listeners, all the kids out there, too, hard work does pay off then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You know, and then and a message to you, Jonica. Your mom has sent a wonderful message in that it's never too late to go back and follow some dreams either, at any age, really.
And that's true, because I read something somewhere, I believe, that your mom has been writing stories and telling stories for like over 75 years, and then somewhere around 89 years she decides to write a book. Is that true?
Truthfully, my mom has always never wanted to be in the limelight.
Oh.
So this is actually quite the most funniest story in the world. You ask her to go on the phone, you ask her to, talk to people, her hand comes straight up. She doesn't want to do it. She was recently doing a radio, not a radio, but a Skype interview through a friend of mine, Jackie, and her daughter. They have a show on Shaw in Vancouver, and she was saying some things that she was live, and she was saying some things, and I had to crawl on the floor and give her a foot a jab, and then she looked at me, and I'm like, and I'm doing that cutthroat thing. I'm like, what?
Wait.
And hoping that no one can hear me making those noises under there.
Wait, you're crawling under the camera's view on your hands and knees to tell her to ixnay. That's
Ixnay, Mom, just don't do this. And then, you know what she did? She pointed to me. They can't see what she's pointing at. She's like, oh, and I'm like, please don't say my name. I didn't say that out loud, but I was praying.
Word. She is a pistol. Well, I'm so glad she's decided to do this and stay with us and do her book. Now, does she? Now, what's the plans with this book? Do you? Gary's coming in as a ventriloquist, so obviously you're doing some live shows. You plan on going to an animated series with it, hopefully. What is our plan?
Well,
Netflix?
We're going to go.
Netflix?
We're going to go here. Number one, the puppet was.
Go to Netflix. I have a
connection.
subscription. I'm sorry. I said if you go take it to a series, go to Netflix. I have a subscription. Go ahead. Well,
you'll be my first fan. I'm positive. What happened, by the way, is that when I was talking to Gary, I had a huge interest in getting the puppet made, and he steered me to marry Matt Puppets. And so our puppet is made by the same person who made a couple of Darci's puppets. So I feel very proud that the hands that touch the puppet of was it Petunia, Gary?
No, the one that people will know right off is Katie the Yodeling Cowgirl. That's the first character that Marianne Taylor made. The second character that Marianne made was Oscar the Motown Mouse.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. And so that was my, like, really a huge connection. And this is how fantastic Gary is. He turned around and said, I'm going to talk to her if that's okay, to make sure that her hands move on all the right ways. And I'm like, okay, because right for your hands, right, Gary? For your arm. He's like, what? What are you talking about? For you. And I'm like, no, for you, Gary. Remember, Gary? I said that.
Yeah. Well, really, guys, here's what this started is Jonica was interested in ventriloquism. So at first I thought I was going to be coaching her. And then she would thus in turn do Patch the Rabbit as a ventriloquist in her area to help read the book to children. That's kind of where that started. And then I guess Jonica found out it's going to take a lot of practice to do this. Maybe we should get you to do this. That's kind of where that started.
They almost fitted
the bunny to you. Huh? Yeah. I didn't realize you actually fit these the bunnies. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's custom like a bowling ball, man.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
So the bunny arrives on Gary's doorstep.
And Gary's in Oklahoma, and you folks are in Canada. You and I met years ago. It's 5 or 6 years ago in Vancouver. You live in British Columbia, Vancouver, don't you? That area.